Human rescues 2 alien children frozen in blizzard, then 4 SUVs pull up with... The blizzard howled like a wounded beast across the frozen plains of Elysium. Alex Mercer hunched forward on his rumbling motorcycle, squinting through the swirling wall of white. The machine, a heavily modified Triumph scrambler he'd rebuilt himself, cut through the snow with stubborn determination, much like its owner. "Goddamn weather," Alex muttered, his breath fogging inside his helmet visor. Should have stayed at the outpost. But staying put had never been Alex's style, not since he'd left Earth's special forces. Not since he'd come to this frigid alien world where humans were treated like second-class citizens by the native Elysians. The tall, elegant humanoids with their pale blue skin and superior technology made no effort to hide their disdain for the primitive humans who'd established trade relations with their world. Alex preferred the honest brutality of the wilderness to their condescension. Out here, at least the cold didn't pretend to like you before it killed you. He adjusted the thermal controls on his compression shirt, the black fabric clinging to his muscular frame. The garment, military grade and designed for extreme environments, was one of the few luxuries he'd allowed himself. That and the bottle of Jameson whiskey waiting back at his cabin. The motorcycle sensors beeped a warning, temperature dropping rapidly. Even by Elysium standards, this storm was vicious. Alex checked his navigation display, calculating the quickest route back to his shelter. That's when he saw them. 2 small shapes huddled together in the snow, barely visible through the whiteout conditions. His training kicked in before conscious thought. He swerved, bringing the motorcycle to a controlled slide before dismounting in one fluid motion. "What the hell?" he whispered, approaching cautiously. 2 children lay half buried in the snow. Not human children. Elysian. Their silvery blue bodysuits, integrated directly with their skin, pulsed with weakening light. Frost coated their pale blue skin and light hair. The elaborate symbols on their chests marked them as highborn, children of the Elysian elite. Alex's jaw tightened. These weren't just any Elysian kids. They were royalty, and they were dying. He didn't hesitate. Special Forces training took over as he assessed their condition with clinical precision. Severe hypothermia, metabolic shutdown imminent. The suit's life support systems were failing. Alex sprinted back to his motorcycle, yanking open a compartment beneath the seat. His fingers closed around a small metal case, a military-grade anti-frostbite elixir, something he'd kept from his service days. Not strictly legal for a civilian to possess, but Alex had never been one for rules. Kneeling beside the children, he extracted a small device from the case and carefully connected it to the interface ports on their suits. The device hummed to life, injecting the elixir directly into their systems. Come on, he urged, watching their vital signs on his wrist display. The wind screamed around them, but Alex barely noticed. His focus narrowed to the 2 small bodies and the flickering life signs on his monitor. One child's readings stabilized, then the others. The roar of engines cut through the howling storm. 4 sleek black vehicles materialized from the blizzard, their headlights cutting through the whiteout like laser beams. They surrounded Alex and the children in a defensive formation. The vehicles were unmistakable. Elysian sovereignty transports, the kind used exclusively by the planetary elite. Each one cost more than Alex would earn in 10 lifetimes. The doors slid open, and 8 Elysians emerged. Their elegant forms were wrapped in formal attire that somehow remained immaculate despite the raging storm. 4 were clearly security personnel, their posture and alertness betraying military training. The other 4, Alex's breath caught. The other 4 were dressed in clothing so elaborate, so clearly expensive, that they could only be members of the Elysian High Council. Parents, one male Elysian stepped forward, his silver suit shimmering with embedded technology. His face was a mask of conflicting emotions, terror, relief, and something Alex couldn't quite identify. "You saved them," the Elysian said, his voice melodic even through the translation device. "Our children would have died without your intervention." Alex stood, suddenly aware of how he must appear to them. A rough human in utilitarian gear, covered in the snow and engine grease. "Just did what anyone would do," he replied gruffly. The Elysian's eyes, iridescent orbs of swirling blue, studied Alex with unsettling intensity. No, not anyone, certainly not many humans. He gestured to the children, now being attended by what appeared to be medical staff. Those are the heirs to House Thalrian. Their survival ensures the continuation of our lineage. Another Elysian stepped forward, this one wearing robes of deep blue. We are forever in your debt, sir, he said, his voice carrying the weight of a formal declaration. Anything you desire will be yours. We'll ensure you never lack for anything. Our gratitude is boundless. Alex shifted uncomfortably. He hadn't saved the kids for reward or recognition. He'd done it because they were children, and that's what humans did. Or at least what humans were supposed to do. As the Elysians loaded the children into one of the vehicles, Alex realized his solitary existence on Elysium had just been irrevocably altered. The elite of a society that had dismissed him as inferior now owed him their most sacred debt, the lives of their children. The silver-suited Elysian extended a hand in a gesture that mimicked human custom. I am Counselor Nerith Tholrian. May I know the name of the man who saved my son and daughter? Alex hesitated, then clasped the offered hand. Alex Mercer, former Earth Special Forces. Alex Mercer, Nerith repeated as if committing the name to memory. The storm worsens. Please join us. We have much to discuss. Looking at his motorcycle, then at the luxury vehicles, Alex made a decision that would change everything. He nodded once and followed Nerith toward the transport. Behind him, the blizzard continued to rage, covering his tracks and erasing all evidence of the lonely life he was leaving behind. The Elysian estate sprawled across a sheltered valley, its gleaming spires and domes protected from the planet's harsh elements by an energy shield that shimmered faintly against the night sky. Alex stood at the window of his luxurious guest suite, nursing a glass of amber liquid that tasted similar to whiskey, but with subtle notes of something alien and floral. 3 days had passed since his rescue of the Thalrian twins. 3 days of being treated like royalty rather than the second-class citizen he'd been for years. The irony wasn't lost on him. A soft chime announced a visitor. Enter, Alex called, not turning from the window. Enjoying the view, Mr. Mercer? The melodic voice carried a hint of amusement. Alex turned to find a female Elysian standing in the doorway. Unlike the formal attire of the counselors, she wore a sleek, form-fitting outfit that emphasized her tall, lithe figure. Her pale blue skin seemed to glow from within, and her silver-white hair was styled in an elaborate braid that fell past her shoulders. Ambassador Naryavantian, she introduced herself with a slight bow. I've been assigned as your liaison to the High Council. Alex raised an eyebrow. Assigned or volunteered? A smile played at the corners of her iridescent lips. Perhaps a bit of both. The human who saved the Thalrian heirs is quite the topic of conversation in diplomatic circles. I'm not interested in being a curiosity, Alex replied, taking another sip of his drink. Naria moved further into the room with fluid grace. No, I don't imagine you are, which makes you all the more fascinating. She gestured to the drink in his hand. Starfire spirit, how do you find it? Strong, complicated. Alex met her gaze directly. Like most things on this planet, her laughter was like wind chimes. Well observed, Mr. Mercer. Alex, he corrected. Alex, she repeated, testing the name. The council has requested your presence at tomorrow's gathering. They wish to formally recognize your heroism. I didn't do it for recognition, which is precisely why you deserve it. Narya moved closer, studying him with unabashed interest. You're not what I expected. And what did you expect, Ambassador? Naraya, she countered with a smile. And I'm not entirely sure. Our understanding of humans is limited. Deliberately so, I'd wager. Alex set down his glass. Your people haven't exactly welcomed cultural exchange. Some of us have been advocating for closer relations. Her eyes, swirling pools of silver and blue, held his gaze. Perhaps your actions will help our cause. There was something in the way she looked at him, curiosity mixed with something warmer. Alex had been alone too long not to recognize attraction when he saw it. The children, he said, changing the subject. How are they? Recovering well. Naren and Alara ask about you daily. They wish to thank their rescuer personally. No thanks necessary. Yet they insist. Naria moved to stand beside him at the window. Children often see truth more clearly than adults. They recognize genuine goodness. The proximity of her was distracting. She smelled like winter frost and exotic spice. "I'm no hero," Alex said quietly. "Just did what needed doing." A very human response. Her hand brushed against his arm, seemingly casual but deliberately lingering. "Your species fascinates me. So physically strong, yet capable of such gentleness." Alex felt a pull toward her that went beyond mere physical attraction. There was something about Naria, an intelligence and curiosity that matched his own. "And your species confounds me," he admitted. "Advanced enough to travel between stars, yet you let children wander into blizzards." Instead of taking offense, Naria nodded thoughtfully. "A valid observation. The twins' escape from their guardians is unusual. Children of their status are rarely without supervision." Alex's instincts, honed by years of military service, prickled. "You think it wasn't an accident?" "I think," Naria said carefully, "that coincidences are rare in politics, and the Thalarian family is very political." Their eyes met, and understanding passed between them. "This wasn't just about a rescue anymore. Is that why you're really here, Ambassador? To assess whether I'm a threat or an asset?" Her fingers traced a pattern on the window glass. "I'm here because you intrigue me, Alex Mercer, both professionally and..." She paused, meeting his gaze directly. "Personally." The air between them charged with unspoken possibility. Alex hadn't felt this kind of connection with anyone, human or Elysian, since arriving on this frozen world. "Tomorrow's ceremony," Naria continued, moving toward the door. "Formal attire will be provided. The council will officially recognize your service to House Thalarian, which carries significant status." "I don't need status." She paused at the threshold, looking back over her shoulder. "Perhaps not, but it might need you." Her eyes lingered on him. "Until tomorrow, Alex Mercer." After she left, Alex returned to the window, his thoughts in turmoil. The ambassador's visit had confirmed his suspicions. His rescue of the children had thrust him into Elysian politics, whether he wanted it or not. And then there was Naria herself. The attraction between them was undeniable and complicated by 1,000 cultural and biological differences, yet somehow those differences made the connection more intriguing rather than less. Alex finished his drink, watching as the twin moons of Elysium rose above the distant mountains. His solitary existence was truly over. What replaced it remained to be seen. The grand hall of the Thalarian estate gleamed with polished stone and flowing light sculptures. Hundreds of Elysian nobility filled the space, their formal attire creating a sea of shimmering fabrics and subtle technology. Alex stood at the entrance, uncomfortable in the tailored ceremonial suit provided for him, black with silver accents that mimicked Elysian formal wear, while acknowledging his human heritage. "You look like you'd rather face another blizzard," Naria murmured, appearing at his side in a gown of flowing silver that complemented her pale blue skin perfectly. "Give me a snowstorm over politics any day," Alex replied, his eyes scanning the crowd with military precision. "Too many smiles hiding too many agendas." "Perceptive." Naria's hand brushed his arm, the touch lingering. "Remember, tonight you're not just Alex Mercer. You're the human savior of House Thalarian." "Great, a title." Her laughter drew appreciative glances from nearby Elysians. "Most would kill for such recognition." "Maybe that's the problem," Alex said quietly. Before Naria could respond, a chime resonated through the hall, and the crowd parted to create a path toward the central dais. Councillor Nerith Thalarian stood there with his mate, both resplendent in ceremonial robes. "They're waiting for you," Naria whispered. "Walk forward when announced. Accept the medallion with both hands, then bow." Alex nodded, straightening his shoulders as a resonant voice announced, "The council recognizes Alex Mercer of Earth, savior of the Thalarian heirs." The walk to the dais felt endless. Hundreds of iridescent eyes followed his progress, some curious, some admiring, others calculating. Alex cataloged the reactions, noting which Elysians seemed displeased by his recognition. One face in particular caught his attention. A male Elysian with unusually dark blue skin and cold eyes who stood among a group of military officials. Unlike the others, he made no attempt to hide his displeasure. Counselor Thalrian's voice pulled Alex's attention back to the ceremony. For your courage and swift action that saved our children, we bestow upon you the medallion of House Thalrian. You are now friend of our house and with all rights and protections therein. The medallion was surprisingly heavy, a disc of some unknown metal with intricate patterns that seemed to shift and flow. Alex accepted it with both hands as instructed, then bowed. The human shows proper respect, someone murmured approvingly from the crowd. House Thalrian debases itself, came another whisper, quickly hushed. As Alex straightened, two small figures darted from behind their parents. The Thalrian twins, now fully recovered, rushed forward with childish enthusiasm that breached all protocol. You saved us! The boy Naren exclaimed, grabbing Alex's hand. His sister Elira, more reserved but equally determined, took his other hand. We want to show you something, please? Their parents looked momentarily scandalized, then resigned. Nereth nodded permission, and the children pulled Alex away from the dais toward a side chamber. They've spoken of nothing but you, Nuria explained, following them. Quite unprecedented. The side chamber was a children's play area, filled with educational toys and holographic displays. The moment the door closed, both children began speaking at once. We weren't supposed to be in the storm. Terra said it was safe. He's our guardian, but he disappeared. We tried to call him, but our suits malfunctioned. Slow down, Alex knelt to their level. Who's Terrace? Our security chief, Alara said, suddenly solemn. Father trusted him completely. Until he left us in the snow, Naren added. Alex exchanged glances with Narya, whose expression had grown serious. The children's account contradicts the official report, she said quietly. The council was told their transport malfunctioned and they wandered away. That's not true, Ilar insisted. Taras took us on a special trip. Then he got a message and told us to wait while he checked something. He never came back, Naren finished. Alex felt a cold certainty settle in his gut. Where is this Taras now? Disappeared, Narya answered. Supposedly returned to his home province. The door slid open and Counselor Thalrian entered. The children should return to the celebration, he said, his tone brooking no argument. As the twins reluctantly left with an attendant, Nereth turned to Alex. I see they've shared their imaginative version of events. Children rarely invent specific details, as Alex replied carefully. Perhaps not, but they misinterpret. Nereth's expression was unreadable. Political realities on Elysium are complex, Mr. Mercer. Not everything is as it appears. Rarely is, Alex agreed, meeting the counselor's gaze steadily. After a moment, Nereth nodded. Enjoy the celebration. We'll speak more tomorrow. He departed, leaving Alex alone with Narya. He's afraid, she observed once the door closed. With good reason if someone tried to kill his children. Narya moved closer, her hand finding his. There are factions opposed to House Theorin's policies, particularly their advocacy for improved relations with humans. So, I'm not just a hero, I'm a political statement. You're more than that, Narya said softly, her fingers intertwined with his, the sensation of her cool skin against his warmth sending a pleasant shiver up his arm. Much more. The air between them charged with tension, not just from the political intrigue surrounding them, but from the undeniable attraction that had been building since their first meeting. This is complicated, Alex murmured, not pulling away. The best things usually are. Her free hand rose to touch his face, tracing the line of his jaw with curious fingers. Your warmth fascinates me. Humans run so hot. And Elysians run cool, he replied, his hand settling at her waist. Opposites. Complementary, she corrected, moving closer still, like your strength and our technology, better together than apart. Their lips met, an experimental touch at first, then with growing hunger. The sensation was electric, alien yet familiar, her cool mouth warming against his. For a moment, the politics and danger faded away, leaving only this connection between two beings from different worlds. When they finally parted, Naria's eyes had darkened to a deep sapphire. We should return to the celebration before we're missed, she whispered, though she made no move to step away. And afterward, Alex asked, his voice rough. Her smile held promise and mystery. Afterward, perhaps you'd like a more private tour of Elysian culture. As they rejoined the celebration, Alex noted the dark-skinned Elysian watching them with cold calculation. Whatever was happening on Elysium, whatever plot had nearly claimed the Thalarian children, it wasn't over. But for the first time since arriving on this frozen world, Alex wasn't facing it alone. Morning light filtered through the frost-patterned windows of Alex's quarters, casting prismatic patterns across the rumpled sheets. He lay awake, watching the play of colors on the ceiling, Naraya's cool body nestled against his side. Her silver-white hair spilled across his chest, and her breathing, slower than a human's, created a gentle rhythm against his skin. Last night had been, educational. Their physiological differences had created moments of awkward humor and surprising pleasure. What Elysians lacked in body heat, they made up for in sensitivity and endurance. Their joining had been both alien and profoundly intimate, a bridge between worlds that politics could never build. "You're thinking too loudly," Narya murmured, her fingers tracing patterns on his chest. Alex smiled. "Just processing cultural differences." She propped herself up on one elbow, her iridescent eyes studying him with amusement. "And your assessment of Elysian human compatibility?" "Highly favorable," he replied, brushing a strand of hair from her face, "though I think we need more research." Her laughter was interrupted by a chime from the communication panel. Narya sighed, pressing a kiss to his shoulder before sliding gracefully from the bed. She moved to the panel, her naked form luminous in the morning light. "Ambassador Vantian," she answered formally, activating audio only. "Counselor Thalarian requests Alex Mercer's presence immediately," came a clipped voice. "The matter is urgent." "Understood. He will attend shortly." She closed the channel and turned to Alex. "Duty calls, it seems." Alex was already reaching for his clothes. "Any idea what this is about?" "Several possibilities." Narya began dressing with efficient grace. "No, the most likely being that Nerith has made a decision about the twins' security." 30 minutes later, Alex stood in Counselor Thalarian's private study. The room was austere by Elysian standards, with functional furnishings and walls lined with data crystals rather than decorative art. "Mr. Mercer," Nerith greeted him, gesturing to a chair. "Thank you for coming promptly." "You said it was urgent." "Indeed." Nerith activated a privacy field that hummed softly around them. "I've reviewed the security footage from the day my children were abandoned in the storm." "The official record has been altered." Alex leaned forward. "By whom?" "That remains unclear. What is clear is that my security chief, Terrace Keldron, did not act alone." Nerith's expression hardened. "House Thalarian has many enemies, particularly among those who oppose closer relations with humans. Like the dark-skinned Elysian at the ceremony last night?" Nerith's eyes widened slightly. "You noticed Commander Nar Maldorian. He heads the Purity faction within our military, those who believe contact with other species weakens us. And you think he's behind the attempt on your children? I lack proof, but the timing is suspicious." Nerith steepled his fingers. "My family has been the strongest advocate for human integration. The trade agreement I'm negotiating would grant humans equal status on Elysium." Alex whistled softly. "No wonder they want you gone." "Which brings me to why I summoned you." Nerith stood, pacing to the window. "I need someone I can trust to protect my children and investigate what happened to Terrace. Someone outside our political system." "You want to hire me as a bodyguard?" "As security advisor to House Thalarian, with full authority and resources." Nerith turned to face him. "The children trust you implicitly, a rare gift. They've refused all other guardians since the incident." Alex considered the offer. He'd come to Elysium seeking solitude, not entanglement in alien politics. Yet the thought of returning to his isolated existence held little appeal now, especially with Narya in the picture. "I'll need complete access to your security systems and personnel files," he said finally, "and transportation to track down Terrace." Relief washed across Nerith's features. "You shall have whatever you require. Ambassador Vantian has agreed to assist you, given her diplomatic immunity and knowledge of our provinces." Alex raised an eyebrow. "You knew about us?" A hint of amusement crossed Nerith's face. "Little occurs in my household without my knowledge, Mr. Mercer. Your relationship with the ambassador is unconventional, but potentially beneficial to both our peoples. The door chimed, and the privacy field dissolved as Nerith called, "Enter!" The Thalarian twins burst in, followed by a harried-looking attendant. They launched themselves at Alex with childish enthusiasm. "Father told us you're staying," Alara exclaimed, her small hand gripping his. "You'll teach us human fighting, yes?" Naren added eagerly. Alex found himself smiling, despite the gravity of the situation. "We'll see, kid." Nerith dismissed the children with gentle firmness, promising they could speak with Alex later. Once they'd gone, his expression grew serious again. "There's one more thing you should know," he said quietly. "We've received intelligence that Terrace was last seen in the Northern Wastes, near an abandoned research facility. It's a remote, dangerous region, even for Elysians." "Sounds like my kind of place," Alex replied. "Ambassador Vantian has prepared transport and supplies. You leave at dusk." Nerith extended his hand in the human manner. "Find Terrace, discover who turned him against us, and return safely, Mr. Mercer. My children would be devastated to lose their hero so soon after finding him." As Alex left the study, he found Nerea waiting in the corridor. Her official ambassadorial robes couldn't quite hide the intimate knowledge they now shared of each other. "Ready for an adventure in the frozen wilderness?" she asked, falling into step beside him. "With you, always." He lowered his voice. "Though I'm curious why a high-ranking diplomat is being assigned to a security investigation." Her eyes sparkled with mischief. Perhaps I requested the assignment. Or perhaps the counselor believes your human directness, paired with my diplomatic subtlety, makes an ideal combination." "Is that what we're calling it now? A combination?" Her fingers brushed his, the brief contact sending electricity up his arm. "I prefer alliance, one with extensive benefits." As they walked through the grand halls of House Thalarianon, Alex felt eyes following them, some curious, others hostile. Whatever conspiracy had targeted the Thalarian children was far from over, but for the first time since landing on this frozen world, he had something worth fighting for: the safety of two innocent children, the future of human-Elysian relations, and the remarkable woman at his side. The solitary patroller had become a protector, and somehow it felt right. "We need to tell him, Naren," Ilara whispered, peering around the corner at Alex as he packed equipment for the Northern Wastes expedition. "Father said not to speak of it," her brother replied, though his resolve was clearly wavering. "But Terrace gave it to us for safekeeping. He said if anything happened to him—" "I know what he said," Naren hissed, clutching his sister's arm. "But what if we're wrong? What if Terrace really did betray us?" Alex's enhanced hearing, a legacy of his special forces augmentations, picked up their whispered debate. He continued packing, pretending not to notice as the twins argued in the corridor. "If you two have something to say," he finally called out, "you might as well come in instead of lurking." The children exchanged guilty glances before shuffling into the room, their small faces solemn with the weight of their secret. "We have something," Alara said, her voice dropping to a whisper. "From Terrace. Before the storm." Alex set down the thermal suit he'd been inspecting and knelt to their level. "What is it?" Naren reached into a hidden pocket in his bodysuit and withdrew a small data crystal, no larger than his fingertip. "He said to keep it safe, that if anything happened to him, we should give it to someone we trust completely." "And you trust me?" Alex asked softly. Both children nodded without hesitation. "He said not to tell Father," Alara added. "That's why we didn't mention it before." Alex accepted the crystal, turning it carefully between his fingers. "Did Terrace say what was on it?" "Only that it was important," Naren replied, "and dangerous." "We think it's why he left us in the storm," Alara said, her eyes wide. "Someone was chasing him. He told us to hide, that he'd lead them away and come back for us." "But he never did," Naren finished. Alex pocketed the crystal. "You did the right thing telling me. I promise I'll find out what happened to Terrace." After reassuring the children and sending them back to their quarters, Alex secured his door and examined the crystal more carefully. It was standard Elysian technology, but with one crucial difference: a small Earth Defense Force insignia etched into its base. "What the hell?" he muttered. A soft knock interrupted his thoughts. Alex quickly concealed the crystal as the door slid open to reveal Narya. "Ready for our expedition?" she asked, entering with a datapad. "I've finalized our—" She stopped, studying his face. Something's happened. The twins just paid me a visit, Alex replied, deciding to trust her. He revealed the crystal. Apparently, Terrace gave them this before abandoning them in the storm. Told them to keep it secret, even from their father. Naria's eyes widened. That changes things considerably. Especially this. Alex showed her the EDF insignia. Earth Defense Force? Naria looked genuinely shocked. What would an Elysian security chief be doing with human military technology? Let's find out. Alex moved to the room's data terminal, inserting the crystal. The screen remained blank for several seconds before flashing a security warning. Biometric verification required. It's locked, Naria observed. To human DNA, Alex replied, noting the scanner's specifications. He placed his palm on the verification panel, and the screen immediately cleared, displaying a single video file. The recording showed Taurus, a stern-faced Elysian with military bearing, speaking urgently to the camera. If you're viewing this, I've likely been captured or killed, he began. The information I've uncovered must reach both Counselor Thalrian and Earth authorities. The Northern Waste facility isn't abandoned as reported. Commander Maldorian has been operating it secretly for years, developing biological weapons designed specifically to target human physiology. Alex and Naria exchanged alarmed glances as Taras continued. I discovered this while investigating security breaches in our defense network. Maldorian plans to release the pathogen during the upcoming treaty signing, eliminating all humans on Elysium while making it appear as a natural contagion. I've gathered proof, but my cover is compromised. I'm taking the Thalrian children to a secure location, but if you're seeing this, I failed. The recording ended abruptly. He wasn't abandoning them, Alex said quietly. He was trying to protect them. And someone intercepted them, Naria finished. But why target the children at all? Before Alex could respond, the room's lights flickered and died. Emergency illumination bathed everything in an eerie blue glow. Power failure? He asked, already reaching for his sidearm. Naria shook her head, her expression grim. Targeted disruption. Someone's making a move. A soft hiss drew their attention to the ventilation grate, where a thin mist was beginning to seep into the room. Gas! Alex grabbed Naria's hand. We need to! The door burst open. 3 Elysian security officers stormed in, weapons drawn, but instead of targeting Alex and Naria, they formed a protective perimeter around them. Ambassador Mr. Mercer, the lead officer said urgently. The compound has been breached. We must get you to safety immediately. The children, Alex insisted. Where are they? Already secured in the panic room with Counselor Thalrian. As they hurried through the corridors, Alex noticed the officers wore House Thalrian insignias rather than standard Elysian security markings. Whose men are these? He whispered to Naria. Nerith's personal guard, she replied, loyal only to him. They rounded a corner and came face to face with another security team. These wearing the distinctive armor of the Elysian military. Commander Maldorian requests the humans' presence, their leader announced, raising his weapon. Commander Maldorian has no authority here, Naria replied, her diplomatic training evident in her steady voice. This is sovereign Thalrian territory. The human is wanted for questioning regarding security breaches, the officer insisted. Stand aside. Alex sized up the situation with military precision. 6 armed Elysians against their 3 guards, with Naria to protect. Not good odds. I'll go with them, he said suddenly, stepping forward. Alex, no! Naria protested. He gave her a meaningful look. Take what we found in Nerith. I'll handle this. Understanding dawned in her eyes. She had the crystal. And now she needed to get it to safety while he created a diversion. Very well, she said, her voice cool and formal once more. But I shall register a formal diplomatic protest. As the military officers surrounded Alex, he caught a final glimpse of Naria being hurried away by the Thalrian guards. Their eyes met briefly, a silent promise passing between them. Move, ordered the lead officer, prodding Alex with his weapon. As they marched him through the compound, Alex noted every detail, guard positions, surveillance blind spots, potential weapons. His special forces training had prepared him for captivity situations. They led him to a transport vehicle waiting in the compound's courtyard. Standing beside it, resplendent in his military uniform, was Commander Nar Maldorian. Mr. Mercer, he greeted, his dark blue skin almost black in the dim emergency lighting. How unfortunate that we meet under these circumstances. Cut the crap, Alex replied. We both know why I'm here. Maldorian's expression hardened. Indeed. You've become quite the complication in our carefully laid plans. He gestured to the transport. But soon you'll be part of the solution. The Northern Waste facility awaits your participation. As the guards forced him toward the vehicle, Alex caught sight of movement on the compound's perimeter. A flash of silver-white hair that vanished almost instantly. Narya hadn't fled to safety after all. She was following. Alex allowed himself to be loaded into the transport, his mind already calculating escape scenarios. Whatever awaited him in the Northern Wastes, he wouldn't face it alone. The game had changed. Now it was humanity's turn to play. The transport vehicle carved through the frozen landscape, its treads crushing the packed snow beneath. Inside, Alex sat with his wrists bound by energy restraints, surrounded by 4 armed guards. Through the small window, he watched the terrain grow increasingly desolate as they ventured deeper into the Northern Wastes. Enjoying the scenery, human? Commander Maldorian asked from his seat opposite Alex. Few ever see this region. Fewer still return from it. Tourism was never my thing, Alex replied coolly. I prefer the guided tour. Speaking of which, where's Terrace? I hear he knows the area well. A flicker of surprise crossed Maldorian's face before his composure returned. Security Chief Keldrin made unfortunate choices. His fate should serve as a warning. Funny, I got the impression he was still making choices. Maldorian leaned forward, studying Alex with narrowed eyes. What exactly do you know? Enough to make you nervous, Alex replied, noting the commander's subtle tells, the tightening around his eyes, the slight shift in posture. Special Forces interrogation resistance training had taught Alex to read such signs. A sudden lurch threw everyone forward as the transport came to an abrupt halt. The driver's voice crackled over the intercom. Commander, there's a massive ice formation blocking the path. It wasn't here during yesterday's patrol. Maldorian cursed. Clear it! We can't deviate from the established route. The security systems will target any unauthorized approach. 2 guards exited to assist the driver. The moment the door closed, one of the remaining guards moved with unexpected swiftness, striking his companion with a precise blow to the neck. Before Maldorian could react, the guard had a weapon pressed against his throat. Commander, the guard said, his voice suddenly familiar. You should have verified my identity more carefully. The guard removed his helmet, revealing features Alex recognized from the data crystal recording. Terrace Keldrin, Alex said, impressed despite himself. Nice entrance. The children, Terrace asked urgently, keeping his weapon trained on Maldorian. Safe with their father? They gave me your message. Relief washed over Terrace's face. Good. I feared the worst when I couldn't return for them. He tossed Alex a small device. This will deactivate your restraints. As Alex freed himself, Terrace addressed Maldorian. Your plan ends today, Commander. The Council will learn everything. Maldorian's laugh was cold. You think I acted alone? The Purity movement has supporters throughout the highest levels of government. By the time your evidence reaches the Council, our work will be complete. A sudden explosion rocked the transport. Through the window, Alex saw the ice formation erupting in a shower of crystalline fragments. That's not your men, he realized, grabbing a weapon from the unconscious guard. No, Terrace agreed, his expression grim. We have company. The transport door slid open, revealing not Maldorian soldiers but a squad of Thalrian guards led by a familiar silver-haired figure. You're late. Alex called to Narya, who stood framed in the doorway, a sleek Elysian rifle in her hands and determination in her eyes. Traffic was terrible, she replied with a hint of a smile. I see you've made friends. Terrace infiltrated Maldorian's forces after leaving the children. He's been gathering evidence from inside. Naraya nodded to Terrace. The counselor will be relieved to know the truth. We're not safe yet, Terrace warned, securing Maldorian with the energy restraints. The facility is less than a kilometer ahead, and they're expecting this transport. Then we give them what they expect, Alex said, a plan forming. Naraya, how many men did you bring? 8. All loyal to House Thalrian. Perfect. Alex outlined his strategy quickly. Taris and I will continue in the transport with Maldorian and 2 of your men disguised as his guards. You follow with the rest of the team, maintaining distance until we signal." "And once inside," Narya asked, "we locate the bioweapon and destroy it. Then we transmit Teresa's evidence to both the Elysian Council and Earth authorities simultaneously." Maldorian's laugh interrupted them. "You won't succeed. The facility's defenses will detect any unauthorized personnel." "They'll detect humans, you mean?" Alex said, understanding dawning. "That's why you wanted me. You need human DNA to perfect your weapon." "Your species is a contaminant," Maldorian spat, "weakening our society, diluting our purity with your primitive emotions and chaotic impulses." Those primitive emotions saved the Thalrian children," Narya countered, "while your purity would have let them die." Alex met her eyes across the transport, feeling a surge of connection that transcended their biological differences. In that moment, he understood what truly separated him from Maldorian. Not species, but capacity for empathy. "Let's move," he said, breaking the moment. "We're on a schedule." As they prepared to continue their journey, Narya pulled Alex aside. Her cool fingers traced the line of his jaw with surprising tenderness. "When I saw them taking you," she said quietly, "I realized something I hadn't fully acknowledged before." "What's that?" "That what's between us isn't just physical fascination or diplomatic convenience." Her eyes, those swirling pools of silver and blue, held his gaze. "It's something I never expected to feel for a human." Alex covered her hand with his own. "We can discuss interspecies relationship labels after we save the planet." Her laugh was soft but genuine. "How very human. Practical even in matters of the heart." "One of our better qualities," he replied with a smile. Their moment was interrupted by Taris. "We need to move now. The facility will be expecting a status report soon." With a final meaningful glance, Narya returned to her team while Alex joined Taris in the transport. As they prepared to depart, Alex looked back at her. This remarkable alien woman who had followed him into danger without hesitation. "Be careful," he called. "You too, human," she replied, the formal title now an affectionate tease between them. The transport resumed its journey, now carrying a very different mission than its commander had intended. Through the window, Alex watched the frozen landscape glide past, stark and beautiful in its desolation. Ahead, barely visible through the swirling snow, a structure began to take shape, angular and forbidding against the white horizon. The secret facility, where Maldorian and his followers had plotted humanity's extinction on Elysium. "We're approaching the security perimeter," Taris warned. "Everyone remember your roles." Alex nodded, his mind focused on the task ahead while his heart remained aware of Narya, following somewhere behind them. Whatever awaited inside that facility, he was no longer the solitary patroller who'd found 2 children in a blizzard. He was part of something larger now, a bridge between worlds, fighting for a future where humans and Elysians could stand together. The facility's massive doors began to open, revealing a cavernous entrance bay illuminated by harsh white light. Alex straightened his posture, assuming the role of prisoner while preparing for what would come next. "Showtime," he muttered as the transport carried them into the heart of the conspiracy. The facility swallowed them whole, a labyrinth of sterile corridors and secured laboratories buried beneath the frozen surface. Alex maintained his prisoner facade as Therese and the disguised Thalrian guards escorted him and Maldorian deeper into the complex. "Commander," a senior scientist greeted them, his eyes widening at the sight of Maldorian in restraints. "What is the meaning of—" "Security protocol," Taris interrupted smoothly. "The facility may be compromised. Continue your work while we secure the command center." The scientist hesitated, then nodded. "The final synthesis is nearly complete. We await only the human test subject for calibration." His clinical gaze swept over Alex with detached interest, as if examining a laboratory specimen rather than a sentient being. The casual dehumanization chilled Alex more than Elysium's bitter cold ever had. "Take us to the primary lab," Taris ordered. "The commander wishes to oversee the final phase personally." As they followed the scientists, Alex observed the facility's layout, noting security checkpoints and potential escape routes. Through subtle gestures, he communicated key information to Taris and the disguised guards. The main laboratory was a vast chamber dominated by a transparent containment unit, Inside, a swirling mass of luminescent particles pulsed with hypnotic rhythm, the bioweapon designed to eradicate human life while leaving Elysians unharmed. "Beautiful, isn't it?" the scientist remarked, pride evident in his voice. "Species-specific pathogen delivery? Engineered at the molecular level. Once released, it will purge Elysium of human contamination within hours." "How many know about this project?" Terrace asked. "Only the Purity Council and essential personnel," the scientist replied. "After tomorrow's demonstration for our supporters, production will begin in earnest." Alex caught Teresa's eye. Tomorrow, they had arrived just in time. "Initiate final calibration," Terrace commanded. "Using this subject." The scientist approached Alex, medical scanner in hand. "Excellent specimen. Strong genetic markers, minimal defects." "I work out," Alex deadpanned. The moment the scientist came within reach, Alex struck. A precise blow that rendered him unconscious without sound. Simultaneously, Terrace signaled through his communicator, alerting Neria's team to move in. "We have 15 minutes before the shift change," Terrace warned, securing the laboratory doors. "The bioweapon must be neutralized and the evidence transmitted before then." Alex approached the containment unit, studying the control panel. "Can we destroy it safely?" "Not from here," Maldorian interjected, a smug smile playing across his features despite his restraints. "The fail-safes will release the pathogen if tampered with. Only I can authorize deactivation." "Then you'll do exactly that," came Neria's voice as she entered with her team, "or face charges of attempted genocide." Maldorian's smile didn't waver. "I think not, Ambassador. My actions serve Elysium's greater good. History will vindicate me." An alarm suddenly blared through the facility. On the security monitors, they watched as Maldorian's loyal forces mobilized, converging on the laboratory. "Someone triggered a silent alert," Terrace realized. "We're out of time." Alex studied the containment system, his special forces training and demolitions kicking in. "There's always a way to disarm a weapon. We just need to think outside conventional parameters." "A very human approach," Neria observed, moving to his side. "Sometimes primitive is effective," Alex replied with a grim smile. He turned to Terrace. "The bioweapon targets human DNA, right? What would happen if it were exposed to a massive dose all at once before release?" Understanding dawned on Terrace's face. "Theoretically, it would exhaust its reactive potential, like a fire burning through all available oxygen." "So it needs a human sacrifice," Maldorian laughed. "How fitting." "Not necessarily," Alex countered. He rolled up his sleeve, revealing a small scar on his forearm. "Special Forces operatives carry emergency genetic samplers. Compressed DNA storage for medical emergencies." He pressed the nearly invisible implant, extracting a small vial of concentrated genetic material. This contains the equivalent of several liters of human blood, enough to trigger and overwhelm the pathogen's targeting mechanism. "It could work," Terrace confirmed after examining the readouts. "But someone must manually introduce it into the containment system. The automated processes would detect and reject it." "I'll do it," Alex said without hesitation. "No," Naria protested, gripping his arm. "The exposure could kill you." "It's a risk I'm willing to take." Alex met her eyes. "This is bigger than just me." Before she could argue further, the laboratory doors shuddered under heavy impact. Maldorian's forces had arrived. "Hold them off," Alex ordered the Thalrian guards. "I need 3 minutes." As the others moved to defensive positions, Naria remained at his side. "There must be another way." "There isn't, but I'm not planning on dying today." He pressed the DNA vial into her hand. "I need you to create a diversion at the secondary control panel. Make it look like we're trying to shut down the system remotely." Understanding his plan, she nodded and moved to the opposite side of the laboratory. The moment she began manipulating the controls, alarms blared and security protocols diverted to her position. Alex seized the opportunity, accessing the containment unit's maintenance hatch, a design flaw Terrace had subtly indicated earlier. Working swiftly, he modified the environmental controls, creating a sealed subsystem within the larger containment field. When Neria returned with the vial, he took it with his steady hands. "Perfect timing." "Always," she replied, her voice tight with concern. "Trust me," he said softly. "Humans are remarkably adaptable." With precise movements where Alex introduced the DNA sample into the subsystem he'd created, the effect was immediate. The luminescent particles swarmed toward the human genetic material like predators to prey, their glow intensifying to blinding brilliance before suddenly dimming. "It's working," Terrace called from the monitoring station. "The pathogen is burning itself out." The laboratory doors finally gave way, and Maldorian's forces poured in, only to freeze at the sight of their commander in restraints and their weapon neutralized. "Stand down," ordered a new voice from the doorway. Counselor Nerith Thalarian entered, flanked by members of the Elysian High Council. His gaze swept the laboratory before settling on Maldorian. "The Council has reviewed Security Chief Keldrin's evidence," he announced. "Commander Maldorian, you are charged with conspiracy, attempted genocide, and the attempted murder of my children." As Maldorian was led away, Nerith approached Alex. "Once again, you have saved not just my family, but potentially all humans on Elysium. Our debt to you grows beyond measure." "No debt, Anahitkus," Alex replied, suddenly weary as the adrenaline ebbed. "Just doing what needed to be done." "A very human trait," Nerith observed with newfound respect. "Perhaps one we Elysians could learn from." 3 weeks later, Alex stood on the balcony of his new quarters in the diplomatic district of Elysium's capital. The view was spectacular, frozen mountains glittering beneath twin moons, but not as breathtaking as the woman who joined him. "Official enough for you?" Noria asked, handing him a data pad bearing the council's seal. Alex scanned the document, his appointment as human security liaison to the Elysian High Council, with diplomatic status equal to Naria's own. "From outcast to diplomat," he mused. "Quite a promotion. The council was impressed by your actions, as was I." Naria moved closer, her body radiating that pleasant coolness that now felt like home to him, though I was already convinced of humanity's unique qualities. Alex set aside the data pad, drawing her into his arms. "Any particular qualities stand out?" "Your warmth," she murmured, her fingers tracing the line of his jaw. "Your adaptability. Your capacity for both strength and gentleness." Her eyes, those swirling pools of silver and blue, held his gaze. "Your heart." Their kiss was no longer an exploration of the exotic, but a coming home. Two beings from different worlds who had found something rare and precious in each other. "The Thalarian twins ask about you daily," Naria said when they finally parted. "They've appointed themselves unofficial ambassadors for human-Elysian relations among the children of the elite." Alex laughed. "Those two will change Elysium more than any treaty." "Speaking of which," Naria continued, "the human integration treaty signing is scheduled for next month. Counselor Thalarian wants you by his side when he signs it." "Me? I'm just a former soldier who happened to be in the right place at the right time." Naria shook her head. "You're much more than that, Alex Mercer. You're living proof of what our peoples can accomplish together." Her expression grew serious. "The purity movement isn't completely defeated. There will be resistance, challenges ahead." "Good thing we make a hell of a team," Alex replied, pulling her closer. Over her shoulder he watched as the first light of dawn broke over Elysium's frozen landscape. The planet that had once been his self-imposed prison now offered something he'd never expected to find here. Purpose, connection, and a future worth fighting for. All because he'd stopped to help two children in a blizzard. "What are you thinking?" Noria asked, sensing his contemplative mood. "That sometimes the right choice changes everything." He smiled down at her. "And that I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be." As the new day dawned on Elysium, Alex Mercer, former solitary patroller, now diplomat, protector, and bridge between worlds, embraced both the woman and the future before him. Whatever challenges awaited, they would face them together, proving that when humanity extended its hand across the stars, remarkable things became possible. Some might call it destiny. Alex just called it human.